I'll tell you what, the unintended, perhaps, consequence of these Republican governors is that they're becoming the face of death by this Delta surge with their anti-COVID measures, their opposition to anti-COVID measures. For example, as reported by the Washington Post in Texas, Greg Abbott, the sitting governor there, banned local governments from implementing just mask requirements, even as he pleads for emergency medical help from the rest of the country in combating a surge in these Delta variant cases. South Dakota, another Q bitch, Kristi Noem, who is the governor there, welcomed hundreds of thousands of revelers to the Sturgis motorcycle rally that last year bore characteristics of a super spreading event for the virus. So, Kristi Noem, when you get it, choke to death. Try breathing when your lungs are full of fluid. Go ahead. And remember what a good time you had at the Sturgis motorcycle fuck rally. All right, Governor? And in Florida, Ron DeSantis waging a war on school districts who are trying to defy his executive order prohibiting mask mandates for kids, for students. While Florida is now at its highest level of hospitalization from COVID since this whole goddamn thing began. But Ron DeSantis doesn't care. He's a murderous Christian fascist fuck, and he doesn't care. Like the rest of these right-wing demons. My God, do you realize we have a core of assassins that are loose in the country? And so many of them are Christian fascists elected to positions of governance where they are continuing to make death prominent in this country and on this planet. Those three, DeSantis, Abbott, and Noem, are the vanguard of Christian fascist resistance to public health mandates aimed at trying to stop this Delta variant from killing even more of us. And everything that they're doing is causing spikes in cases as the U.S. tries to very prematurely reopen schools and restaurants and other businesses. This is madness. This is madness on a scale that I never thought I would see. I mean, I don't know what I mean. Now, these demonic Christian fascist governors, like I just mentioned, Kristi Noem, Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, and the rest of these bastards, they are casting their opposition to public health measures as something to do with personal choice. They are protecting your personal freedom, your personal choice. If you're infected, you don't know it, you have the freedom to go spew up spittle all over other people. To do otherwise, to put a mask on, you crazy fuck, would be restricting your personal freedom. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. So the Christian Fascist Party, or as it's still known in some quarters as the Republican Party, is definitely on track to make itself the face of this Delta variant and the attendant sickness and disease and death that's coming with it. Former Republican National Committee Chairman Mike Steele, you've seen him on MSNBC constantly. I like that guy. He said, quote, "They're making a political bet on the lives of the people they serve," end quote. Well, Mr. Steele, with all due respect, these son of a bitches do not serve Republicans anymore. You know that. Michael Steele is still a Republican. So many of the Republicans, former Republicans that are showing up on the television talk show hosts or talk show programs, including some of the hosts, are still Republican, but they're not Christian fascists. Michael Steele added, the party leadership has gone so far out on this limb that there they stand with a saw in their hand and they're sawing it off. End quote. Yeah. Now, a spokeswoman for Ron DeSantis, this Christina Pushaw again, is defending this indefensible bastard. She called DeSantis, quote, pro-vaccine but anti-mandate, end quote. That's like saying someone is pro-life but anti-capital punishment or something like that, right? I mean, pro-life but pro-capital punishment. Jesus. See what I mean about going crazy? Christina Pushaw said in her statement, quote, protecting individual rights is the cornerstone of conservatism. If a business or any level of government is infringing upon individual rights, then it is indeed conservative for a leader to step in and ensure individual rights are protected, end quote. What kind of happy right-wing neo-fascist horseshit is that? It must be very typical kind of neo-fascist horseshit, because that's what you hear from these right-wingers all the time. Individual rights. Oh my God. Now lately, other Republicans like Senator Bill Cassidy, that poor son of a bitch, Republican in Louisiana, and Republican pollster Frank Luntz, these two right-wingers, and they are, have urged the Christian fascist governors to let schools and localities decide for themselves whether to mandate face masks or vaccines. Let the individuals decide for themselves. Isn't that what you're saying with your anti-mask, anti-vaccine bullshit? Cassidy, Bill Cassidy, he's also a doctor, this Republican from Louisiana, was on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday when he said, quote, whenever politicians mess with public health, it doesn't work out well for public health. And ultimately, he went on, it doesn't work out for the politicians because public health suffers and the American people want public health, end quote. Then why do the American people send these scum, this filth, this Christian fascist filth into public office? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.